marvellous game of football. And so I said to Jim, it must have been a great game of football. He said, if it was, it cost us 7 fucking jerseys.
A famous incident occurred in 1977, on the day when Dublin were putting one over in Kerry in what some would say was the greatest Gaelic football match of all time. A mere mile away in Dalymount Park, Thin Lizzy were headlining one of the first open-air concerts this country had ever seen. When the dust settled on that epic semi-final encounter in Croke Park, the spotlight hit Phil Lynott as the band took centre stage. With a clenched fist, he proclaimed to the crowd, "The Jacks are back." On that day, Dublin as a city reached its zenith.
The build up to the Armagh game, Tony Hanaho that's where he really came into his own. He never let us. Now, you must bear in mind, we played Armagh in a challenge match, and we only beat them by a point or two during that year. So, and I was very aware of that as well, in Parnell Park. But Tony absolutely kept us focused, totally and utterly on the game.
To do that it can be a difficult thing, because I was involved with Paddy Cullen in managing the team in '92 against Donegal, again coming into it as rip-roaring favourites, and that was the problem. We didn't manage it. We weren't able to manage that end of it. I mean, Dublin should have won that All-Ireland, and the league final the following year indicated how far Dublin were ahead of them, Donegal. But on the day, Dublin hadn't the focus for it.
And I knew that the media were, of course, had overdone it again, and that this was going to be no problem. And the feeder fish, as I call them, were all around the players, telling them how it would be no problem.
You'd learnt over 6 years that you can take nothing for granted in these matches, and I think we were I don't think we were overconfident going into it. I think we knew what we had to do to win the game.
We were sort of confident, but not cocky. We were afraid it would be an awful humiliation to have Armagh come down and beat us in Croke Park.
That went very much astray, and Brian Mullins gets it. Tom McCree's getting back to it. You can see the damage that the rain has done. These players skidding all over the place. Jimmy Keaveney, a goal! Oh, what a goal! What a goal by Jimmy Keaveney!
Keaveney got probably the best goal ever in an All-Ireland final against Armagh, and a lot of people have driven him mad by saying, you were crossing the ball, Jimmy. You were trying for a point, Jimmy. All of this sort of stuff. If you watch the sequence in that, Keaveney gets the ball, looks up, sees where the goalkeeper is, and the trajectory of the ball. Keaveney would not have kicked the ball the way he did unless he was going for the goal. He was going for the goal. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure Jimmy will probably at some stage give the honest answer to that one.
When Jimmy scored that, I thought, oh crikey, what a great start. But then they came straight back and scored a penalty.
And here comes Paddy. A goal!
So that made it thinking, that probably gave us, if there was any bit of complacency at all at that time, certainly gave everybody a little bit of a boost to know that we were going to be in the game.
That was an intended one to Bobby Doyle. Referee calling for the ball, and the game is over. And Dublin are All-Ireland champions of 1977.
Armagh scored 2 goals towards the end. It wasn't the cakewalk that people thought it was going to be. And Jimmy Keaveney got a goal earlier on that took the sting out of them, which in a way was lucky that it came at the time it did.
After the dizzy success of 1977, when Armagh were easily dispatched in the All-Ireland final, this great Dublin team began to unravel. The old saying, time waits for no man, was never more apparent. The great Kevin Moran was to move on to pastures new, to Old Trafford, and even greater success with the Irish soccer team. Despite the decline in the team, they went on to capture 2 more Leinster championships and contest 2 more All-Ireland finals. And they set a record unequal to this day as the only team to appear in 6 All-Ireland finals in a row. 6 All-Irelands in a row has never been equalled by anybody.
For a team that was getting old, that was beginning to age. I mean, if you take its average age when they won the All-Ireland in '74 and the average age of the Kerry team that won the All-Ireland in '75, there would be a big, big difference.
Yeah.
But these people are highly motivated. That's what you have to understand. And you know, to achieve the way they achieved and to sustain it, like they played in 6 All-Irelands in the '70s on the trot. That's not easy.
Yeah. You were quoted as saying that Mikey Sheehy's goal against him made him a millionaire. Is that true? Did you say that?
Well, Colin, I'll go back a wee bit forward.
See, he took a breath. That's the problem.
I'll go back a wee bit forward. 1967. I was actually captain of the Dublin football team.
It was an extraordinary event.
And Paddy was playing soccer with McNaughton's, where he worked as at Sparks. Sparks and McNaughton's. And I said to this particular selector in the Dublin team, I said, why don't you get Paddy Cullen and put him in goal?
He must have said something.
No way, he says. There's no soccer man going to play in goal for Dublin.
Oh, really? Oh, the band was still in place.
Oh, yeah. So eventually, after a couple of weeks, we got Paddy back. And we played on Easter Sunday in what they call the Corner Cosca match. It was for the Dublin Primary Schools League in Croke Park. And that was his first game. And he played in the league semi-final that same year against Meath, and the league final against Galway, which unfortunately we were beat. So I got him starter anyway.
You gave him a start.
I gave him a good start, you know.
Yeah. It's great, just like a builder, you know.
So then he went on with the further and greater things and became a publican through his exploits on the GAA field. Sparks were publican. So then we played the famous All-Ireland final against Kerry, Mikey Sheehy. And Mikey will tell you this himself. Mikey got a great goal that day, cost us the All-Ireland, made Cullen a millionaire, and I wouldn't mind. Mikey was famous anyway, but he got no money out of it. But Cullen up in the pub and Swords, you have all the slides of that particular goal, about 10 of them. Mikey getting the ball, some giving the ball in the back of the net.
Do you know when you have long-time friends, you know, that you know, when the chips are down, that they say, well, geez, Paddy, you were hard done by. Here he is sitting here talking to the camera, right, telling stories that he shouldn't be telling. And he says, I became a millionaire. I'm bricks and mortar, but his money is under the floorboards.
And all of a sudden we had heroes, you know, to follow.
And they were homegrown.
Exactly, that was the point. I mean, you know, I always say that the great thing about GAA is that you can reach out and touch your heroes, unlike, say, professional soccer players. So you would have a situation like, you know, you would be playing against Paddy Cullen in a club match, Nafina versus O'Connell Boys. The week after he maybe had saved a penalty against Galway in 1974. The same guy was there. So there was that sense that they were with us, they were of us, and they were part of us. As well as that, they also played with you and against you with the same intensity as they played for All-Ireland finals.
I've heard over the past few days that you guys could actually sit in a room and criticise each other.
Yeah.
I just find that an amazing piece of information, because you know it's not. I mean, it's. I don't think it's a great Irish characteristic to accept criticism well, especially from your peers. You know, like and especially among competitive sportsmen, to be able to sit down and talk dispassionately and objectively about each other's performance.
Well, going back to what I said earlier about learning psychologically and applying yourself, I think humility is one of the greatest assets that a sports performer can have. And I think those that fall short when they're in superstar mode are the ones that lose their sense of humility, and they're only as good as your last game. And we succeeded in establishing a very honest forum where what was said inside the room stayed inside the room. but it was inside the room, and it was always heart to heart, and it was constructive criticism rather than criticism for criticism's sake. And I mean, we're still the same. It's an amazing phenomenon.
It is.
We convene every so often, and it's like as if we haven't been apart for a week, and you mightn't have seen some people for 2 years, and there's still that sense, that bond, that friendship, that I know I could ring any one of those now at any time of the day from anywhere in the world, and if I needed their help, I know they would give it, and vice versa, I would do the same for any one of them.
There was fellas on that panel and they trained for 7 or 8 years, and in that period of time, if they'd got half a dozen games, maybe a couple of league matches, a couple of challenge matches, and maybe brought in the championship match where we're winning well or something like that, but they never left the group. They all said, and like over a period like that, we were like a family. Like you'd have problems, you had problems at home, maybe financial problems, but as Gay says, that part of the park was all sorted out in there, nobody went about after that, you know.
So what happened with the dressing room?
Oh yeah, and we helped one another out as well, you know.
I think for any team to be good, and including the Dublin team then as well, you've got to have people that are bright in terms of the awareness and the knowledge of football. That is the most important thing, what's between the two ears. After that then you're talking about the camaraderie that you have that will create the team spirit that helps to pull people through then as well. So that if one player is having a bad day, there's going to be 1 or 2 others out there to help him to pull through, that he's not left isolated. So it's a combination of all those things then that really, you know what I mean, have it. And I thought that Dublin team at the time had it, you know, in abundance when you look through it. You know what I mean, as you say, they all did very well, you know, in jobs afterwards then as well. That showed a degree of intelligence.
So therefore we had that interregnum of 80, 81 and 82 to rebuild the side. But most importantly, which was that from Dublin's point of view, we enjoyed in the county great success at underage level in the late 70s. 78, 79, 2 All-Ireland finalists, victory in 79, the Kieran Duffs, the Barney Rocks of that world came through that. And it was a case of giving them some time to develop. And then suddenly now in 82, we have a team that is now getting stronger. The players with the talent are beginning to blossom. And 83 was just a repeat of nearly 74 again.
But Jim was saying earlier there about the lucky breaks. We got a lucky break in the 77 All-Ireland final when Jimmy got a ball under the hill and he went to cross it, but it lucky enough curled into the goal because he was crossing to Bobby Doyle.
I always thought that was a shot. I always thought that was a shot.
Kevin Morton went over to Manchester United. After he went over to United, when he went to United at least, and there were all these banana kicks. And he told him that, should we have a fella home doing that 3 or 4 years ago?
Are the Dublin fans like on a par with like the Manchester United fans, Real Madrid fans? I mean, there's great fans of clubs, great clubs around the world. Do you feel the Dublin fans are in that kind of league?
Oh yeah. You mean right now?
Yeah. I mean,
oh yeah, right now they are. I mean, they are just waiting. They're just, it's like they're waiting for the Messiah. They're just waiting for something to happen. They follow Dublin, as you know. I mean, they follow them everywhere. I mean, I know lots of guys who go everywhere, up and down, up to Tyrone, down to Kerry, in the middle of winter. So they are there.
I mean, I look back on these days now and see how naive we were. We were kind of totally into the football, and you know, we really just were doing football, and it didn't go to the heads at all. I say unfortunately a bit facetiously, but you know, Paula told me 2 years ago in South Africa that I was the pin-up boy of the 70s, and I only found it out in 1999.
From 74 to 1980, we didn't feel in passing. Like we were involved, like we were nearly involved 11 months of the year, because I think in those 6 years we went to about 5 National League finals as well as 6 All-Ireland finals. So it meant we were playing competitive football nearly at least 10 months a year, and the time just flew through. You know?
It was one of the best times we ever had. I mean, to me, I know I would say overall we were all lucky to be involved in a movement like that which lasted for 6 years. Because, you know, when it started in 74, you know, realistically you'd have to say we had no chance of winning the All-Ireland final according to the ratings or according to the pundits. And it just developed, and then for me anyway, I think the 77 semi-final was the highlight, the climax of the whole thing, which of course other people would have other ideas, particularly Kerry. But that was our side of the story, and it was, you know, in anything, whether it's acting or filming, or in our case it was the sporting arena, it's great to have been involved, because there were very, very many great players who never got the chance and who were unlucky not to be there.
Until the emergence of this great Dublin team, Gaelic football was on its knees, facing an onslaught from TV, rugby, soccer. The dubs of the Rare Auld Times, the dubs of the 70s brought Gaelic football to a new height, a height it still occupies to this day. There's no greater place in sport than a packed Croke Park when the Dublin team hit the field to be greeted by a sea of blue and by their adoring fans. Maybe a little bit of the dubs of the Rare Auld Times still lives on.